Hello, and we're back with our course syllabus in video number 3. So I left off with what if my computer crashes or my paper is not on my flash drive. Okay, so here's the thing, I don't give extensions if your computer fails. Okay, what you need to do is get in the habit of saving your work in multiple places. So if you have a laptop, save it on the laptop, but also get a USB drive, one of those little flash sticks. Okay, save it on there as well. Email it to yourself. And then up on Cobra, I have an additional place under the Dropbox. Alright, this first box here, if you need a place to save your work, you can save it here. Okay? So you can click on here and then scroll down to where it says add a file. Alright? Upload it from your computer and then you can save it here. Okay, and then when you go back to the Dropbox here, you'll have like a number 1 here, and you can click on that, and then you can get back to your file. Okay, so it's your responsibility as a college student, not just for this class, for all your classes, to save your work in multiple places. Make sure that when you're using Cobra, you're using the most up-to-date applications for that. And then our academic calendar, I don't have it on the syllabus. I use the calendar tab up on Cobra. Occasionally I might use a student example in a video or something. That doesn't necessarily mean you've done something wrong. You might have actually done something good and I mess it up. And I'm just using it as an example for us to learn through. Here's our grading scales. The 90s are an A, 80s B, 70s C, 60s D, and then 59 and below are Fs. These are the type of assignments we'll do, summaries and critical responses. Annotations are going to be different because we're online. I will have an annotation worksheet instead where it'll ask you questions. In-class assignments, think of them as online ones, quizzes and midterm, quizzes/tests, midterm and final. Academic honesty. So here at Parkland we have core values which we expect everybody to follow by. So honesty and integrity, fairness and just treatment, responsibility, multiculturalism, education, and public trust are all important. And so you are expected to represent a good example here at Parkland. But sometimes people cheat and sometimes students plagiarize. So plagiarism is when you're taking someone else's words, ideas, and using them as your own. Okay, you're saying this is what I'm saying, but actually you stole them from someone else. That is plagiarism. We also have something called self-plagiarism, and this actually happened in one of my 101 classes, where I had a student who they took a paper that they wrote for a previous class and submitted it in my class. Okay, when you use the Dropbox on Cobra, when you turn anything in the Dropbox, it is connected to turn it in, and it will see if this assignment has already been turned in before. Okay, so that student had turned it in a previous class, so it popped up for my class that had been plagiarized. Okay, so they did what's called self-plagiarism. They reused work from a previous semester, and you're not allowed to do that. So what that means is every semester it's like a complete do-over. You're supposed to do brand new work. Now what I've told students is if you've used a source or if you've written something in a previous class that you think would be really great to use in your current class, go talk to your teacher and see if they will allow you to use it. Some will, some won't. It's up to that teacher, okay? But it's important that you're being honest. Can I get help from another student? It depends. If you're asking someone, hey, how do I pick out a topic in this paragraph, then that's fine. You're reviewing how to use the work that we learned this semester. But if you say, hey, can you read my summary and correct it for me? That is not okay. That is cheating. So for your quiz, you need to make sure that you understand what happens if you're caught plagiarizing or cheating. And there's 2 times. Okay, so the first time you're caught plagiarizing or cheating in this class, you will receive a 0 for the assignment, and then I will tell Parkland. When I tell Parkland, your name goes into a database with a check mark by it, and that's it. Okay? The second time it happens in my class, you will receive an F for the course. You won't be allowed back in, and you'll have to retake this course. Then I will tell Parkland again. So they'll go to your name in their database. They'll put a second check mark. Okay? So that's what will happen to you in this class. Please note also, though, that if you cheat or plagiarize in another class and a third check mark gets by your name in the database, that's when your name pops up to administration here at Parkland, and they say, okay, wait a minute, we've got to deal with this student. Something's going on. Okay? So for the quiz, all you'll need to know are the first and second time here. But just also know that on the third time is when Parkland will actually step in to talk to you. Let's see. I'm double checking to make sure that I've highlighted everything that we've gone through for the quiz. Late assignment. Okay. So also, oops, I don't think I highlighted it up here, but make sure you know what self-plagiarism is and not to do it, and then make sure you know what plagiarism is. Okay? And I'll review those at the end of the video real quick. Alright, the rest of this syllabus is just content about the college. Here's an academic assessment release statement. I don't think they're doing this. Usually they kind of check up on how classes, teachers, and students are doing and will ask for an assignment from everyone, but they haven't done this for a while. And during a pandemic online, I don't think they're going to do it either. Accessibility concerns. If you have not registered with accessibility services or you believe you are in need of an accommodation, please contact their office and let your teachers know. Same with video accommodations. If you need closed captioning or transcript, please let your instructors know. There will be closed captioning with all the videos that I do for this course. Counseling services. Because we're in a pandemic and things are very stressful, there's a lot of high anxiety, stress, depression. Please use them if you feel like you need them. I can tell you that during the summertime, for me and even my fiance, we've gone through a lot of depression, and there are certain things that we've done to help try to cope with that. But if you feel the need to talk to someone, please do. Don't hesitate to do that. There's their email address and their phone number. CAS D120, here's their information. They do so much down there to help you with tutoring, with advising, all that kind of stuff. Give them an email, give them a call, and they can help you out. There is a writing lab, and mostly their writing lab is online information. And so here's that information. If you go onto Cobra, and on the page right before you click on your class, you'll see this support over here. And the writing lab is right here. You can click there and it'll send you there. Also, up at the top with these little boxes, you can click on there, and the writing lab support is here listed. Okay, go over and click the little push pin, and then it'll always be pinned right here for you. Okay, so I've pinned the classes that I'm teaching this semester along with this. So under my courses, I go to pinned, and so it's right there. Okay, and so you can go there and you can get all the help that you need. Also with the writing lab, they have a supply closet. So if you need pens, pencils, notebooks, folders, things like that, that is available down in D120, and there's the information for that. It's all free to you. Technical assistance. If you're having issues with Cobra or your Parkland email, or if you need help down installing Word to your computer and things, here's the information for that. Please know that all of your instructors are mandated reporters for the state, and we are legally obligated to report any abuse that we see. Title IX, sexual assault, violence, and misconduct. Here's the information and link to that for that information. The college just wants you to know that if you are a victim or the witness of anything, you can report it anonymously. Title IX also for pregnancy. If you or your partner discover that you're pregnant during the semester, congratulations. You definitely want to talk to your instructors, and you want to get a hold of Dean Marietta Turner. Okay, she will help you through whatever you need. So you might be put on bed rest. You might have to stop. You might have to put a pause on your education and then come back to it later, and that's fine. I, as a teacher, can't do that, but she can. That's why it's so important to talk to her office. And then finally, the general syllabus, college syllabus, that is up on the announcements page on Cobra. And then finally, a notice to all of you, leave the excuses at the door. If you didn't do your homework, just a minute and get it done. If you don't understand the assignment, ask for help. If you didn't study for the test, resolve to do better next time. If you choose to break my rules, you choose to accept the consequences. I'm here for one reason only, to teach and inspire and help you grow. I'll do my part, the rest is up to you. Alright? So communication is vital and important this semester. So let's review real quick what's on that quiz. So make sure if you cheat or plagiarize, what's going to happen to you those 2 times. You know what self-plagiarism is and what regular plagiarism is. And then make sure you know that you can turn up to 6 late assignments this semester. Make sure you know what my policy is for being respectful to everyone. Make sure that you know to be considered attending class, you have to turn in and submit at least 1 assignment per week. Make sure that you know the required materials, not including the textbook. Make sure you know not to email me on Cobra. Don't message me on Cobra. You will need to use your Parkland email account when you email me, and make sure you know my name. Alright? So those are the things that you will need to know and study for the quiz. The quiz will be under the quizzes tab. Okay? So when you're ready to take that, you can go here, or in the week 1 folder under content, you will find the three assignments here. This first one is watching these videos, and then you'll go to the syllabus instructions and it will explain how to take this quiz. Okay? And then the link for the quiz is right here. Alright? So if you have questions about any of the syllabus, policies, or anything like that, or how things are going to work, please let me know. I know this is a lot of information at the very beginning. I am going to do one more video that is just going to go over the important parts of Cobra and how to use it. So hopefully it won't be as long. Alright, so again, let me know how everything's going, how you're doing, if you have any questions, and I will talk to you later.